Good afternoon. Thank you, ma'am. Are my slides visible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thank Muralidhar sir, Dr. Puneet sir, and AIWS and Vapors team for this opportunity. So I'll be going. This is a patient, 66-year-old female hypertensive lady, who reported to us with dimness of vision in the left eye for last 3 weeks. And if you can see in the fundus, the right eye, we had some scar in the perimacular area. Left eye, the areas are organized as well as fresh subretinal mounds. Vision was 6 by 60 and 36. Right eye was 6.6, had some history of laser for extrafoveal IPCV in the right eye, and it was pseudophakic. Left eye had a significant cataract. We planned for cataract surgery with subretinal TPA and AR after vitrectomy plus C3F8 and injection anti-VEGF. So this is the video of the presentation. So this case, we had to do a cataract surgery because of its significance. Following cataract surgery, we started doing vitrectomy. PVD was induced, and we could see the macular area with lot of dehemoglobinized yellowish organized hemorrhage as well as fresh hemorrhage. So vitreous was removed in. So after that, once vitrectomy was completed, we injected some amount of, usually I follow a 25 microgram in 0.1 ml TPA. So that is being introduced by 40 gauge needle. So very tiny proportion, maybe hardly 3-4 bubbles is good enough to create small blisters in the subretinal space. So this was this one area which was swelled up by TPA, and after, and these are the other areas where you can see a very nice blister over the posterior pole. So I wait for a minute after giving this tissue plasminogen activator, followed by subretinal air, filtered air. Also very tiny bubbles. You have to be very cautious about injecting these tiny bubbles in subretinal space. And this was after the bubbles. You can see a very nice blister with cocktail mixture of TPA and air subretinal. This was followed by fluid gas exchange, and it was exchanged with C3F8, and intravitreal anti-VEGF was given. I didn't give subretinal anti-VEGF. So this was post-operatively 2 weeks. We could see the C3F8 bubble and significant resolution of this organized dehemoglobinized blood in the macular area. This is a little clearer picture. We can see almost resolution of subretinal hemorrhage and the organized hemorrhage. This was a post-op chronological OCT. It was treated at Shankar Nethralaya. So we could see the initial, it was in June 2019. There was still some amount of organized heme here, some amount of subretinal heme. And we followed it till after 8 to 9 months after surgery. OCT, the anatomical OCT was reasonably very good. And this was the post-op 8 months, where you can see significant change in, and vision also improved from 6 by 9 in 8. We could see only a paramacular scar in the left eye and some amount of inner retinal wrinkling. OCT was reasonably good with 6 by 9 in 8 vision. So things learned in this case, we need to intervene early, which has a role in dramatic resolution of submacular hemorrhage. We know anatomical resolution correlated well with this with functional vision for this patient. Long-term follow-up need adds significantly in the knowledge of overall outcome. But two things which I want esteemed panel to comment: natural course of organized dehemoglobinized submacular hemorrhage, which is usually poor, but here we could see there was significant resolution of organized submacular hemorrhage, which has not been studied well in literature, and had subretinal TPA anti-VEGF has done the trick. So this was the so the take-home message: the keystone is timing of surgery in submacular hemorrhage. The earlier is better. Duration more than 2 weeks, NMD, sub-RP hemorrhage, and retinotomy carries poorer prognosis. Visual acuity as presentation and size of submacular hemorrhage are not found to be predictive of final visual acuity in literature. Adjuvant anti-VEGF helps in primary disease regression and subsequent recurrence. And subretinal TP, ANAR, and anti-VEGF cocktail can be tried even in cases of organized submacular hemorrhage. Thank you so much.